Hello, welcome back, Buttercup. Do you like that nickname? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out a nickname. I love buttercups. Remember when, if you have buttercups around, like during the spring and summer, where you would pick a buttercup and then put it under your chin and see if there was like a reflection? And if there was a reflection, that means you're sweet. It was just me? I don't know. I hope it wasn't just me, or else this introduction is stupid. But anyway, I'm gonna try out Hello Buttercup. Though it doesn't particularly match with the vibe of this video, I think Buttercup, if you're sweet, it doesn't matter. But jumping right in anyway, because I'm bad at transitions, today's book review is Don't Fear the Reaper by Stephen Graham Jones. Now, this is the second book in the trilogy. The first book was My Heart is a Chainsaw, and yes, I did do a book review on that, so you can find it at the end of this video. Not too many spoilers, but there's gonna be spoilers because I need to talk about it. Now, Dark Mill South, a serial killer, has ended up in Prufrock, and Jade just got out of jail. So she's coming back to Prufrock a few years after the massacre, or really what happened in book one. And yeah, you know, she just happens to come at a time where a serial killer has arrived and she has to figure some stuff out. That's basically the plot line. Am I getting better at summaries? I hope so. If not, my bad. Jumping into the review. I'm starting out so well. Okay, I'm jumping into the review. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Yes, a 4, not a 4.5 like the first book. It's a 4 because there are a few points of views that I don't think needed to be there. Like Lonnie. I don't care about Lonnie. I really don't. I don't even care about Kimmy. Kimmy can die for all I care, and Kimmy is Jade's mom. I said in the first book review video that I hate her and I hope that she dies. Yeah, I said it, and I don't take it back. Sorry, not sorry. She abandoned her child to an abusive ex-husband and then just went down the road and married someone else and didn't take Jade. Yeah, I want you to die. As a character, I don't like you. Especially if you read the book and you realize how terrible the abuse is from the father, you hate Kimmy as well. And there is no redeeming qualities for Kimmy. I think Stephen tried to do that in this novel, but I was like, yes, you're dead. So that's what I wanted, and she died, so I'm perfectly fine with that. But her points of view did not redeem her. It didn't explain shit. It really didn't. I don't care what you have to say, or if you think you're a horrible person, that you're trying to do better, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. You are a horrible person because you ditched your child with the abusive ex-husband. You went down the road, you married someone else, you could have easily brought her, but you decided not to. Okay, we have a problem. I have a problem with you, Kimmy. Thank you, Stephen Graham Jones. Whatever reason he killed her off, she's dead. Thumbs up. And I know a lot of other people did not like her and hated her as much as I hate her, so I don't know his reason. Maybe got feedback that she needed to die because she's so damn horrible. I accept that feedback. I like that he probably did it for that reason. But there is another reason that is a bigger spoiler overall, and it has to do with connections in the first book during her childhood. I don't know. You can decide. I would say, if you're going to read this book, decide at the end which one it might be. Or it could be a little bit of both. Like, he got so much crap that Kimmy was around that he was like, okay, I'm going to tie this into something else and then just kill her off. Totally fine with me. Either way you slice it, dice it, goodbye. There are about 4 points of views that I don't think needed to be there. I can understand Sheriff Banner, because Banner married Letha and they have a daughter, and he's trying to protect both of them, and he's working very closely with Jade, so I understand that. I'm gonna give that, you know, a let go. But I think it should be Jade and Letha, and that's it. And then I will accept Banner's point of view. But the other people I don't think needed to be there. I definitely don't think that there needed to be a point of view from Darkmill South, even though it was just a few pages. I want the mystery. I want the mystery and intrigue and disturbingness of him, and it kind of ruined it a little bit when I had that point of view and he's just thinking everything out loud. And the other thing that I had to give 4 stars for was the ending. The setup, didn't really like it. I think it was too confusing, and there were too many points of views going on, and there was too much switching back and forth of scenes, and the ending letter, or that is written by someone, a survivor of the massacre from the first novel, I don't think it needed to be the ending. I think it should have been Jade once again, because she ended the first book, and then should be ending with Jade. But it was the person writing the letter, and then they were talking about Jade, and so technically she ended the book, but it's through a letter, like an essay. So it's not actually her. It's someone viewing her and then them writing it down in a note, letter, whatever. That's just convoluted. There's too much going on there. Go straight to the point and just have Jade end it. I think it would have been way more interesting than having someone, like a third person, viewing what's happening to Jade at the end and then talking about it, basically. But I did really enjoy this book because they're in their 20s, early 20s, because it's about 3 or 4 years after the massacre of the first book, and Jade gets out and she is trying really hard to not go back to that neurotic Jade that is suicidal, and she can't get anything together in her life, and that is perfectly acceptable. But I did want to see in this book, before I read it, that she heals in some manner. You're not going to get over everything. You're going to have a lot of scars, physically, mentally, emotionally. But I want to see that she had some type of help in jail with the therapist, the psychologist, whatever is involved in that particular jail, prison. And she did get help, and you can see that she's not as neurotic. And so also the writing is not as all over the place. And it's a little easier to understand because she's not jumping so many thoughts in like 1 or 2 paragraphs, so I appreciated that. I understood what Stephen Graham Jones was doing in the first book, because that's how you can portray someone that is having a mental breakdown every single second of every single day, but it was hard to follow sometimes. I also enjoyed seeing Letha back, and I was wondering if she was going to survive or not, but she did. Thank you. Love it. And her growing up and having a baby and being married, and it was really nice, and learning that she did get the inheritance from her dad, and that means she's trying to help the community, and she does. And I also really was happy that Sheriff Hardy survived, but I like the realistic points made that the people that were injured, even Jade, have issues. So like Letha has problems with her jaw, like they reconstructed her whole jaw, and throughout the whole book, she's trying to not mess up her jaw for the 3rd time, because it's barely hanging on, which is disgusting. Okay, but I mean, it was ripped. Yeah, nasty. But throughout the whole thing, she's dealing with her jaw and the pain and having to take medication, but she can't the medication in the usual way, so she has like a special way to do it. Nice detail. And then Hardy, I mean, his guts were ripped out. And so he has a walker and a cane, and he has a lot of just a lot of issues physically. And so he's not the same person as he was before, but that's what happens. That's realistic. I like the realism of, yeah, you're not going to be the same as you were. And there are a lot of movies and books and TV shows where something traumatic happens and they're like relatively the same, but maybe they have nightmares. Oh, God forbid they have nightmares. Like, that's not the only thing that shows, one, PTSD, and two, the physical issues that happen during a massacre. Like, hello, there are other things that you, as a writer, whether it's film or books, can show other than nightmares. And I appreciate Stephen talking about that and really incorporating that into this novel. It's realistic, basically. And I think that the deaths were interesting in the fact that they weren't all the same. So Dark Mill South doesn't kill the victims all the same. And then there was a huge twist with Ginger and Cinnamon. A little confusing. I had to reread it a few times. But that is kind of like a cliffhanger, because I'm wondering if the third book is going to be about figuring out which is which and who is who and who actually died. Like, did Cinnamon die or was it Ginger? Because I'm still not 100% sure who is actually living and who is actually dead. So I'm wondering if that's like, that was left open a bit, because third and final novel, they're going to figure that out. But I was trying to wrap my head around it, and I think I got it, but that doesn't mean that I did. So I see where the opening is for the final novel, and I'm intrigued. I don't know if it needed to be that complicated. And there's a point of view switch to Gal, or Galatea, who is a different, senior, I think she's a senior, in the Proof Rock High School, who's also close friends with Cinnamon, and that it was where there was like the hints about what was going on with her, Cinnamon, and her sister, Ginger. I think that made it more confusing. I think if Gal's point of view wasn't there and it was revealed and explained by like Jade or something, it would have been a little easier, but I had to keep up because there was a lot of switching back and forth between who is who, because they both shaved their heads, and so now who is Cinnamon and who is Ginger and who is the killer and who's not. I think that was a little much, but I am still interested in figuring out who it is, even though it could have been less confusing. I do definitely recommend Don't Fear the Reaper, especially if you read the first book. And I'm excited for the third book. I don't know when that's coming out, probably in a year or two or maybe 3, because Stephen Graham Jones is writing and publishing other stuff, but it is a great slasher novel with a little bit of horror, with a little bit of body horror. Yeah, it's pretty graphic at times, so just keep that in mind. There is a lot of violence on the page. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.